This is the last time we use this trailer for this. Completely forgot about the car, just don't even know it exists anymore. Literally just vaporize this filter and then pump the brakes at the last moment. What's going on, everyone? We are back with the service engine-based side of things on the Carbon R Amuse GTR. Taking a look at these HKS super suction filters. They are original. Tips of advice, always change them. Never let this slide. So we're gonna pop off one of the service nuts on the end of this. It'll hit the floor. And as expected, I probably shouldn't have even have driven on this car when I did. This filter is literally just crumbling to pieces. It was extremely stupid for me even to drive this car with these filters. This is probably the worst I've seen them in a while. Neither here nor there. We have our saving grace shop JDM. Gonna hook us up with the filters. Pow! A set of new replacement super suction, dry, super suction. These are the dry 3-layer units. Pop this guy out here, and I don't want to do stupid things, but if I were to put it against where the original one had sat, this image is almost pound for pound the size of the filter. So take a look, this guy here, same size, correct. Got them from shopjdm.com if you need more. We have two. We went with green. These look like they could have, I don't know, yellow, green. For the sake of originality, we might have swapped these out later with the yellow units. They do look like they might have been the yellow, but we don't have enough time. Let's rock the green. It looks good in the rest of the engine bay. We've got some sanding. We have some compounding to do to the rest of the pipes, the valve cover. We did some dry ice blasting, cleaned up the shock towers, the inner carbon fiber, fender wells, and the rest of the intake manifold. The rest of this vehicle is almost ready for launch. Fold it like a wonton before installation. Now that's HKS saying it directly, so let's go see if it works. We fold this guy right here like a wonton. I'm not gonna eat it. Center it, and then let that thing just kind of pop, lock, and drop it. Yeah, it's kind of filling out. I'll take their advice. I'll take their word for what it's worth. They know a thing or two about these intakes. Can't believe I was driving on them. Watch. Just turn it to dust. Literally just vaporize this filter. Oh, perfecto. Okay. Now lightly put those bolts back into position so we can get the alignment on the doors. There's barely even enough space for the bolts. And I didn't clean or refiber any of this area, and there sure isn't enough clear to completely block a hole off, but there's just enough space for the bolt itself. Some areas, like we did fight to get these taillights out, but in others, you can see like this old glue, there was no prep to any of this. So I was going over with just a wire brush. It's gonna mung it up enough that it'll create a better path of adhesion for the product to the body. We're gonna clean these up and then obviously polish the taillights, re-prep the area, glue it. This one's a lot cleaner. I don't know if this was just the prep work that was involved on this one or what, but not as rough as this one. We got like a before and after. But yeah, just to prep the surface. Ready to go. So that's the next step. We're almost staying there. They did not have the OG Advan tires, so we went with the Advan Apexes, the V601s. These are the closest things you can get to the original tires. The original tires are the A048s. They are discontinued, unfortunately. My personal opinion, they are a much better looking tire. These are, that's a hockey puck. This is more of a street strip use. This is more track oriented tire. You can see what we were riding on. We actually had a nail Look at the size of this damn nail here. This was inside, like scraping on the inside of the wheel, which is nasty. I can't believe we were doing what we did on that, let alone the overall condition of the tires just being shot. This went all the way through the cords. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the wheels, we're gonna clean them. We did not have enough time to totally disassemble all three pieces of this wheel. This is a true three-piece wheel, so you've got one layer here, you've got another there, and you've got an inner barrel there. So in order to get this thing polished and cleaned up correctly, they would have had to completely dismantle the wheel, focus on the lip, and then we'd probably end up repainting the faces. It's tearing away from the originality. I think we can clean up the faces without totally disassembling everything and creating another month's worth of work for ourselves. So we're gonna go with these, we're gonna clean them up. The insides also need to be cleaned as well. They're in complete original condition, not bad for a Volk wheel of its age. And yeah, we're gonna get them on the car, get this thing out the turn. Wherever Amuse goes, it's got to be the end of the E to the end of the option, to the N on the Titan, the Bilstein, the O on the Recaro, the S on the Endless. Measure the spacing accordingly. Dead center, and then measure it. Dead center, measure the gap, and then place each decal thereafter. Use faith in this decal. So we ran into a few problems, one of them being the decals. Our decal guy, as good as he is, there are a few inconsistencies that I'm not too okay with, so therefore I'm going to pump the brakes at the last moment and see if we can have a few of these recreated. The Bilstein Motorsport decal, there's a slightly different sizing pattern to it, and we need to be damn near exact on both doors. Thankfully I scaled the decals on an exact replication of the front half of the passenger door, and as you can see, every single decal had like a maximum space placement, and it came all the way to the very bottom edge of that door. So if one decal, this was the Bilstein decal, nearly twice the size, we would lose space placement for the Volk decal. So it's a very important decal. It's a very important piece on the car, obviously. So we've got a little bit of an issue with that. The rocker panels, everything else went well as far as assembly is concerned. Last minute issue with the battery. We're tracking down a battery at a local vendor. They have it in stock. We're picking it up tomorrow. It's an Odyssey, one of these small extreme batteries, the extreme lightweight batteries. Luckily enough, they do have it in stock. We're picking it up tomorrow. And wheels, tires are on. Those are all ready to be installed. The hood and the wing are probably the last two items to be sanded and buffed. We rebaked the hood and the wing. They're both in the booth now. Let them cook to about 150 degrees. Hopefully tomorrow they will be dry enough that we can buff them. If the paint's not cured, the clear's not cured well enough, what will happen is that you can buff that thing until you're blue in the face, and it just will not, you just won't have clarity. If the paint's not dry, clear's not dry. So That's a huge issue that we ran into today. A couple areas on the nose we also have to sand and buff. I'm hoping just the open air exposure will cure it within the amount of time that we could sand and correct the rest of the areas in the front of the car. The rest of the assembly is fairly straightforward. The hood goes on, the rear spoiler goes into place, and hood latches. But outside of that, everything else is assembled in. Taillights are on, buff the lenses, both side skirts, including the driver's side skirt, is now in place. Had a little sanding and polishing work to do. There's a ton of clear on this car, so there will also be a massive recorrection when the car comes back, because we have bigger plans for this car this season. Hopefully we can get it into like Quail or possibly like an import Concours venue over on the West Coast. So West Coast guys, keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully we can get on that this year to see you. It'll be awesome. I want to redo the brakes, the calipers. Obviously they're a little weathered. We're still within a reasonable time schedule. Bubble. I don't know how we made that work, but washer lost the spacer.
On the beat.
What's going on, everyone? This is the finished reveal of the Carbon R 34 GTR, also known as the Amuse R34 GTR Carbon R. This is the final day. All of the carbon repair work is complete. We went on a little bit of a rabbit hole with an earlier issue. We brought the car in the booth and I thought I was just gonna take a blowgun and clean it off, air dry it. Half of the clear coat tore off this thing. So it was a little bit of like a nightmare before Christmas situation. It has taken me several months to finish this. We were beyond a deadline to get this thing to turn 14, probably about a month. So this gives us the opportunity to hit the ground running, and we are going to splash, make a big splash at the Cars and Coffee at turn 14 tomorrow, Saturday. I believe it's May 1st? 2nd. Hold on. So May 2nd, and it'll be on display for roughly 30 days thereafter. So the entire month of May, you could see the finished product on display at turn 14 in their headquarters lobby. After this, we're loaded in the trailer. It's a 3-hour drive to turn 14. We have to be there by 7:30 tomorrow morning. So without further ado, this is a highly detailed process, and again, not something that I would typically take up at a moment's notice, but I knew it meant a lot to the car, a lot to the Tuner Society in respect to what this vehicle is, getting it back to an original condition, or even better than it was when it was first built. And again, paying homage to everything, all things original in this car without over restoring the vehicle. I wanted to pay respect to a lot of the inner mechanical prowess of this, where we weren't modifying or changing things. I mean, we could just take turbos off a shelf and upgrade and just start swapping parts. That's not something we wanted to do. We did not want to retune the vehicle. We cleaned the injectors. We did all the major services through and through, and now she's ready for her first display, her debut, stateside. As you can see, all of that crazy dry rot of that carbon fiber has been fixed and repaired. All of the decals in the original placement, which they were removed, we went through, we realigned the hood, reset the latches. A lot of body quirks on this thing. Again, the construction itself was very precise. However, there were little tune and fitment issues. This vehicle, after it was built, it went right to the track, and it was still in a test and tune stage. For the betterment of the car, they were changing wheel spacers, they were changing tire specs, they were changing tunes on the vehicle, and it was proven itself out to I believe it was a 57 or 56 second over at Tsukuba. This is a 1 of 40 Nismo Omari factory stitch welded chassis. I mean, the modification and the historical value of this car, the list just goes on. So there was absolutely, we had no reason to leave any stone unturned. As far as the exterior and Benetech, that carbon fiber had to look phenomenal. We did a little beautiment underneath the hood, not going full replacement on everything. Again, utilizing the original components throughout the entire engine bay. The Amuse upper intercooler pipes, the ARC intercooler, we just buffed and cleaned things where we could. The HKS intakes, we cleaned up the GTRS turbos, dry ice blasting the entire engine bay through and through, the underside, all 4 corners, suspension, transmission, rear differential, everything has been dry ice blasted and cleaned. All the way in the corner, people are gonna be like, oh, you know what, the VIN numbers, the chassis. There are no VIN numbers on these Omari chassis stitch welded vehicles. Even the Super Tycoon cars went from Nissan directly to Omari. They had the stitch welding process done, and 9 times out of 10, they weren't stamped unless they were being homologated for racing or racing outside of Japan, only to keep track of them. This chassis was gifted to Hideki Tanabe, the owner of Amuse, as other individuals were that were very close to the race scene, such as Smokey Nagata and his R34 GTR, and less than 40 examples exist. So if I had started scratching the paint away and there were numbers underneath that, that would be a huge problem. Continuing the rest of the display, the Volk GTC wheels, we cleaned up. We threw a set of fresh Advent Apex Yokohama tires on it, full set of decals. If you want to look in the interior, we cleaned everything. We even painted the floor. For those that are just joining us now, we repainted the inside of the cockpit, re-cleared the door cards. You take a look at this stuff at this angle. All of the carbon fiber is mint. Floor, we didn't have the seats recovered. We're gonna go as far as possibly doing some extraction on the Recaro itself. They're a little dirty from getting in and out of the car. Rewrapped a lot of the wiring harness, got it tucked up out of the way. Really respecting the originality of this car was at most importance. Coming around the back of the vehicle, titanium pipe, that titanium exhaust system, that one-off Powerhouse Amuse exhaust system is absolutely beautiful. So we cleaned it up, dry ice blasted. Again, not changing any configuration of that system whatsoever. and new decal. So we threw a new decal on the quarter panel, new decal on the trunk, disassembled the taillights, buffed, reinstalled. Those are actually sat in there with like a glue. Most of these JGTC cars, these GT500s and these carbon body cars, these are not bolt-in units. The housings are separated because this area would be the original taillight housing, removable housing on a standard R34 GTR. These are fused into the body. So lenses separate, they're glued in. Overall, I'm extremely happy with this. It was one hell of a pain in the ass. I'm super excited to see everyone's reaction tomorrow at Turn 14. I appreciate you guys for sticking through this build as long as you did. We'll do a little more video at Turn 14 just to get some guys' reactions in the unload process of cars and coffee. And thank you all again. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one.
To give you an extra clearance. Alright, that extra like inch. You gotta jack it up from the. You gotta jack it up. No, but we needed another 2x4 on both sides to clear. You gotta clear. You gotta keep the jack right there. Exactly.
This is the last time we use this trailer for this.
Yeah.
Something like this.
Good on that side? Huh? When he gets past that thing, it's something. Okay. Got that one? Fantastic, good.
rides really well.
Really?
It rides more like an AMG or a Mercedes.
That's
You would
interesting.
expect, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
She's like, she weighs in right around like 2,300 pounds, 2,350 or so. Extremely lightweight for rear-wheel drive. So not all-wheel drive anymore, but take a GTR from all-wheel drive to rear-wheel, it's more like this flat surface. Until you drive it, it's mesmerizing. Yeah, it's awesome. So right now can't drive it to that extent, but because we've all spent so much time on it, walking on ice. So. And we made it to Turn14 headquarters. We got the Carbon R Amuse R34 on display here at the headquarters. We had an awesome turnout today at this Cars and Coffee event. It's the first one I've been to, and this is the first time she has been outside, stateside, in its life, and we're just happy to have it on display here. We've got roughly 400 to 500 hours into the carbon fiber rehabilitation work in this. It was totally unforeseen. Hopefully we get it entered into or at least accepted into a few higher end Concours events this year with it. We're very excited for the next steps in this life, this car. Thanks again to the sponsors. I'm trying to lower my voice here as everyone else got louder and I just got quieter. Huge shout out to the sponsors, shopjdm.com, Redline Restorations, where we made all this magic happen, and Turn14, thank you for having us and being a part of the next stage of this car's existence. So taking a quick trip down memory lane on the process of this vehicle. We got the vehicle, it did not run. It needed an immense amount of maintenance and rehabilitation, superficially on the exterior and on the inside of the car. The rehabilitation did not just stop at the mechanical side of things. Mid-process, hit the blowgun to the car just to clean it off as an air dry process and completely blew the clear off this car, setting us back about 400 to 500 hours worth of rehabilitation work on the exterior alone. Fast forward 2 months later, through the process of the mechanical rehab, the exterior rehab, going down memory lane with all the supporters, the vendors, the people that were in the early processes and stages of building this car originally, and just reconnecting with those individuals and having them reconnect with the vehicle was just, it's something that I just can't explain. It was nostalgic. It was awesome to be a part of the process. Again, it's it's more along the lines of restoration and rehabilitation and not just a complete reconstruction of the perfection this car was in its time. So it was a careful process through and through, and hopefully we have the opportunity to show this thing at a higher degree, a higher caliber of getting it out there and in demographic in front of people that one were probably connected to this car at beginning stages and just now moved on in life and completely forgot about the car, just don't even know it exists anymore. It's good to kind of bring it back to the forefront of the tuner industry. This cars like this built the industry, and it's unfortunate that some of them are forgotten over time. So it's very important to bring these cars back, the legendary stuff that made it happen for us. Product development, research, titanium components. I mean, this was one of the first manufacturers of like titanium exhaust systems for vehicles for just street cars. So it's huge. This vehicle, again, it's one of 40 early raced Nismo stitch welded chassis. This on a one-of-one prototype configuration, body dry carbon configuration. This is more of a concept car than it was an actual production vehicle, which is cool. So through and through, product development, concept vehicle, limited production chassis, and one-of-one carbon fiber, dry carbon body. It's actually a really cool combination when you start thinking about it. So this is temporary goodbye for today and now for the next 30 days. And we'll see her next month. She is safe and sound at home at Turn14 headquarters, where round 2 will be a finalization of any of the other things that need to be done, whether it be the decal resizing or specific details in the carbon fiber, pinholes, small little anomalies that kind of gave us a little bit of an issue along that process. For the pursuit of perfection and the restoration or reutilization of the originality being the primary focus. So neither here nor there. This is her home. It's not a goodbye. We'll see her in a month from now. Give her a hug, no scratches. Let's go. Thank you, dude. Thanks, man. Awesome. You know what you're looking at here?
I'll be honest, I have no idea about the car.
Do a little research.
I was doing a little bit of homework just now.
It's one of 40 Nismo race chassis that were completely stitch welded from like every single inch and a half or so. Omari factory stitch welded it, and then it went from Nissan to an Omari factory and then directly to a tuner shop or a race department. And vehicles like that went to like top secret. Smokey Nagata had an R34 race car that is supposedly, you know, missing. It's not, but it's one of the elusive. And this carbon fiber configuration was built by a Formula One carbon fiber race development team in Japan by the name of Benetech. So it's a complete dry carbon one-off body. So it's on a limited low production chassis on a one-off. So it's more of a concept vehicle than anything else. And it splashed on the scene in like the late 90s, early 2000s as a Gran Turismo test raced vehicle, because people had seen videos of it testing with like Taniguchi and a lot of famous race car drivers of that, yeah. And they were testing this car and it was like breaking all the records at like Tsukuba. You're like, holy shit, it's like 57, 56 second lap times, which like better than back in 99, 2000. So it was better than like R35 Nismo GTRs of our time. And you could see, like, if you look on the inside of the wheels, they were still just playing with like wheel spacers. So you'll see wheel spacers stacked. Yeah, stacked. So they were still testing.
I was like, why is it?
They were still testing, dude. Like, and even through that test phase, like you'll see a lot of the notes from Hideki Tanabe, who was the owner of Amuse at that time, when they were doing dry carbon and titanium components. No other company in the world is doing those two materials for street vehicles. Yeah. And so Nissan, he had some amazing connections over at Nissan. He was actually, one of his best friends was the president of Nissan at that time. So they reached out and they said, Hideki, you know, like, take this car, take one of our finest Omari stitch welded chassis and redevelop it, make it the most purest vehicle you can. And he said, perfect. Dropped him off the chassis, and he went through it and created one of the lightest R34s of all time. It weighs less than, so it's like 2,300 pounds, 2,350, which is like RX. So it's almost 1,000 pounds less than what the normal R34 GTR is. So it's got an HKS dog box sequential transmission in it. It's got a lot of unobtainium parts.
I noticed the ARC big boy intercooler.
Exactly, ARC. So the ARC oil cooler, and then the intercooler above it were all custom configured for the dry carbon. Here, I'll pop the hood for you. So like all of this stuff. Yeah, everything is so light. So like everything, like all the way into the wheel wells, radiator support, it's all dry carbon. Yeah, it's like, it's Alienware.
This is 34.
Oh, 34, yep, 34, and all the stitch welds, all the way throughout. That's all Nismo. And then all of the race chassis, had no VIN numbers on them. So when we first got the car, like, oh shit, like, was this just something that had been covered up? So you take a scraper and make sure there are no VINs there, because if there were numbers under there, it'd be an oh shit moment. But there are none, due to the fact that it went from Nismo to Omari, and then directly from Omari to the tuner shop before anyone stamped. These were just strictly for off-road use only, test vehicles. But N1 specification engine, and a whole bunch of titanium Amuse bolt-on stuff, GT28 RSs. It's an amazing car. I think there are 28 RSs, GT28 RSs, which was a really common turbo to make 600 horsepower reliably back in the day. It's got Bilstein suspension, which is not very common for GTR. However, it was running a teen spring, which in teen was at the top of their game back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So I guess that combination equaled perfection for something like this. It rides, and I've said it a few times, it rides more like an AMG GT car than it does an R34, which is cool. It's stressful, rigid, but also here. One last thing you can just like feel. So this is the heaviest door because it's got a window motor in it, but you can feel how light it is. Yeah, that's the lightest. The other door is much lighter because it's got a motorless door. Yeah, go right ahead. Yeah, so they took the motor out, and then you've got, that's exactly how they left the FCON and ECU, because they're like, screw it, like we need everything to be easily accessible, and the rest you can, again, notice all of the stitch weld. Every single area you see a seam, there's a stitch weld for it. It's wild.
So the GTRs, R34s in general, they have all the batteries and equipment in the back.
Yeah.
Did they mess with that at all?
So they kept the proximity. So the ECU and all of that fun stuff were kind of like relocated and moved closer up towards the front. A lot of the race cars are, and then there's like a secondary body systems harness that they with the battery, and they leave in the trunk, and that was done just for the weight placement of the vehicle. So they diversified some of that slightly, but they were able to execute on like a 50-50 weight balance. Eric, Colton again. Yeah, shoot me a DM or something. I appreciate your. Yeah. Listen, if you're ever up the way, we have a lot of people that are like venturing up and through like New York. And they're like, oh, I'm visiting family or friends. They just swing through. Yeah, I'm there 7 days a week, dude. Yeah.